Hello everyone. Yes, there are so many films opening this week, I decided to do a second video looking at two other major releases. On Tuesday, I discussed two films I liked. So let's go in the opposite direction today. First is the fourth big video game adaptation this year, based on the popular Ubisoft game about Callum Lynch, a man who ends up going back in time to the Spanish Inquisition. Sort of. This is Assassin's Creed. The premise here has a lot of potential. A criminal is made to relive the memories of one of his ancestors from the late 1400s. This should be a fun historical adventure, right? Not really. There's a little bit of that, but the vast majority of Assassin's Creed's screen time is spent in the institute that's holding Callum, and we also get a number of scenes with the villains and their evil plan that feels straight out of the Da Vinci Code. Well, if you can make sense of the plot, because the story is so incomprehensible most of the time, and I did not find it the least bit entertaining. You have the ability to go back in time and do some really interesting things, but no, you mostly stay in this dull white building where characters spout clunky exposition. And when we find out precisely what the villains want to do, I just thought to myself, really? You spend so much time and billions of dollars on something that I imagine could have been done in a much easier and cheaper way. It does not help that the acting is disappointing, despite the talented thespians roped into this. Michael Fassbender is sadly underwhelming. I spent so much time waiting for Jeremy Irons to go into Profion mode, and I have no idea what Marion Cotillard was going for. The few positives I can say about Assassin's Creed is when they do go back in time, the stunt work in those action sequences is well choreographed, and they clearly spared no expense on the production values. However, there's no excitement because they don't properly develop these characters, and I had to force myself to stay awake through most of this. Let's move on to the next film, in which the co-writer of Meet the Parents decided to switch things up, but basically do the exact same movie. Starring Bryan Cranston and James Franco, let's all ask ourselves, why him? Like I said, this film cribs a lot from Meet the Parents, which the film's director, John Hamburg, was a writer on. Except take out the jokes, and you get this so-called comedy, which made me sigh far more than it made me laugh. Every single joke is telegraphed a mile away, and you get every single predictable beat you can expect in this. There is not a single unpredictable moment, and even then, you feel like the film skips pivotal scenes. There is a point where without any proper transition, Bryan Cranston shows the first inclination of being completely on board with Franco's wacky hijinks. Not that I wish this film had more scenes, because this thing is almost 2 hours long. The filmmakers keep sequences going forever and ever. There's a point where they stay on a shot for so long, I almost shouted "cut" at the screen. It's not even that the jokes go for easy shock value, which they do. It's that they somehow expect these people to be charming, especially Franco. But they're not, especially Franco. His character is a repugnant human being, as are his buddies we meet. I started to wonder if why him was propaganda made by older people to make the audience hate young people. But that would be giving it too much credit. The jokes are so poorly timed and written without any wit whatsoever. They just die right on screen like a horrific car crash. They could not even make a simple joke about C++ funny. I know, right? The third act is probably the most excruciating, because you know it's almost over, but it just keeps going. And to add final insult to injury, why him has a mid-credit scene. No, you did not earn the right to include a mid-credit scene, why him? Next week, I'll be counting down my top 10 best and worst films of the year. You probably already know what's on one of those. I'll see you next time.